Hey, you. Yeah, you. Listen up, because we're going to give you your fantasy advice for week 2 of the season. Tell you who to start and sit for your fantasy team on CBS Local Sports. That's Dave Richard, Jamie Eisenberg, and I am Ryan Bass. At quarterback, it looks like Ryan Tannehill could possibly devour that Jaguars defense this week.
Possibly. You know, he struggled in week 1 to the level that we were expecting him to play against the Redskins, but I think he'll bounce back this week. I think he does get you to the multiple touchdowns, and I think he plays a little bit better. So 13 fantasy points in week 1. I would say at least 19 points with the second touchdown with the yards that go along with it. He'll be in the 20-point range.
Who are you sitting at quarterback this week, Dave?
Phillip Rivers had a nice week 1, threw for over 400 yards, but I'm worried about him traveling to Cincinnati against a Bengals defense that should make an impact on the Chargers offensive line. That's going to force Phillip Rivers to throw faster, quicker. I don't know if he can get the job done. I think this projection is pretty much right on. He might actually have one more turnover than that when the game's all said and done. The receivers they made great plays with in week 1. They're going to be covered tighter in week 2. So I don't know if Phillip Rivers is going to be a great choice.
At running back, Tevin Coleman certainly made a good impression in week 1, and you'd think week 2 he could do the same.
20 carries. That's amazing. I didn't think he'd get that much work. I think he'll still get a lot of good numbers. I like him in this matchup against the Giants. Their run defense was just okay against Dallas. Joseph Randle had over 100 total yards. I think Tevin Coleman could get to 100 total yards in this game, too.
You're disappointing me here, Jamie, telling me I should sit my boy Latavius Murray. Why should we?
Baltimore's defense. Look, you know, quarterback situation is going to be a little bit hard to trust with Derek Carr playing at less than 100%. Obviously, Baltimore knows that. They're coming off a tough loss against Denver. They're not going to lose 2 in a row. They're going to go into Oakland. They're going to beat the Raiders, and they're going to shut down Latavius Murray. It's going to be a tough game for him. I did like the 7 catches last week. That was impressive. So I think in PPR leagues you could buy into that and hope that that continues. But I don't think he scores, and I don't think his rushing yards are going to be very good.
I played the waiver wire this week. I picked up Dante Moncrief. Should I start him?
I would. You know, if you need help at receiver, I'm starting him a couple leagues. Certainly if you're looking to replace T.Y. Hilton or Des Bryant, this is a great guy to buy into because it's one of those matchups where I think he'll avoid Darrelle Revis. No Antonio Cromartie for the Jets. At least that's what they're expecting. And so Moncrief got 11 targets from Andrew Luck last week. And even if you're just looking at a guy to speculate on, 11 targets from one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, that's a guy you could stash on your bench. So if you don't feel like starting him this week, buy into him as a guy that could be a potential reserve and maybe a starter down the road.
He also scored more fantasy points in week 1 than Andre Johnson and T.Y. Hilton combined. That was 10 fantasy points, of course, because Hilton went out with the injury. But still, your sit at wide receiver. The rookie not looking good in Amari Cooper?
He's getting the work, and I like that Derek Carr is going to play for the Raiders, but it's the matchup against Baltimore, and I'm not so sure he's going to have another great game. I think it's going to be another okay game. So I'll take my chance with other wide receivers there than go with the rookie Cooper.
I need to start somebody at tight end. Who am I looking at this week to start?
How about Jason Witten? Let's just go right to him. In Dallas, I like him a lot. I think he's got good potential to be the guy to help pick up a lot of the slack that Des Bryant is leaving behind. You know Des Bryant's going to be out for a while. Tony Romo loves throwing to Jason Witten. The offensive line can handle the blocking. Witten is going to start running more routes. He's going to be a thing in fantasy for the rest of the season.
I'm sitting somebody, though. Who am I sitting in favor of Witten?
Well, Jordan Reed is somebody that I think you got to be a little bit nervous about, just given what the Rams have done for the most part in the Jeff Fisher era against tight ends. Now, Jimmy Graham did score against him last week, and Reed is coming off a fantastic game where he led the Redskins in targets, and obviously no Deshaun Jackson, so you figure Kirk Cousins will lean on him. But I do think that the Rams' defense against tight ends bounces back this week. I think Reed's going to have a little bit of a tough time. PPR leagues is a little bit safer than he is in standard formats. I just don't see him scoring a touchdown.
And with Jackson out, who else do they throw to? They got to throw to somebody, and you would think the Rams' defense should know that that guy's going to get the football, right?
Probably so.
Those are your starts and sits for week 2 of the NFL season on CBS Local Sports. Thanks for watching.